of course, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Victorious Ones podcast, the place where gaming meets comics, meets sports, meets movies, once again, as well as inspiration. As I always say in the opening, and of course, I go by the name of King Von Jr. You can follow me on social media, on Twitter, 301 King Von Jr. King Von Jr. You can also follow me on the show's Twitter page of Victory Pot One. Of course, you already know, the rest of the rest of the handles and everything like that. And so I would say that the main thing I really wanted to tap into is, of course, this past weekend's Night of Champions, or on this end, it was like 1 o'clock, or 1 o'clock, on our time. It was the evening, Saudi Arabia. So I call it Brunch of Champions. That's what it felt like. But the thing about it is that, like I said, it was absolutely incredible. I was heavily invested in this, and I would say that this was a great, sort of like a continuation or change, not necessarily change of course, but just a continuation of the momentum that we've seen ever since WrestleMania. Even though that momentum continued with Backlash, but I think things have been kicking in a high gear even more when it comes to Night of Champions. Sorry about that. But yeah, like I said, I definitely like how everything started off great when it came to championship match. So far, Night of Champions has 7 matches, and out of those 7 matches, 4 of them were for championships, from the beginning to the very end. So it was like a bookend. Of course, the starting match, the opening match is for a title, and the last match for a title. So, like I said, great bookends, on each side. And so, of course, this was held in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, and not only that, but also Night of Champions was followed by NXT Battleground the following night. And side note, congratulations to both Wesley and Carmelo Hayes for retaining their championships. So as far as that's concerned, we still have 2 black champions, holding titles. Even though spoiler, Bianca Belair, Bianca Belair lost her title. Congratulations to her for carrying that title with excellence. I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. And Jade Cargill also lost on AEW's Double or Nothing. You know what I mean? So of course, as far as that was the only thing I paid attention for as far as AEW. But like I said, both Bianca and Jade held their championships with excellence. But of course, without further ado, I definitely want to get into in regards to the show itself. So we start off with, and of course, before I go any further, first and foremost, most importantly, congratulations to the tribal chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns, or as I call him, Roman Richard Reigns, for being WWE Universal Champion for over 1,000 days. So one's up in regards to 1,000 days. Now Roman is officially the 5th wrestler to have a championship reign 1,000 days or higher. So of course, Bruno Sammartino obviously is number 1 from his first championship reign. And the thing is, Bruno did it twice, by the way, in regards to having reigns that last over 1,000 days. Like I said, Bruno's first reign is number 1. Like I said, of course, Bruno Sammartino did it twice. Of course, you have Bob Backlund. You have HH, racist formerly known as Hulk Hogan. Of course, and then you also have Pedro Morales, and now at 5th to join that club, 1,000 day club, is none other than Roman Reigns himself. And I like how of course, I'm going to get in quite a Night of Champions Roman had, and we'll go into that later. But the thing is, the thing I liked on Saturday was in celebration of Roman's milestone. There was a video, that was a tribute to Roman's 1,000 days as champion, and of course you have Paul Heyman as a narrator for it. And so I like how they go through the timeline of Roman being the champion from the time that he won the title. I think it was Payback, I believe it was. When he beat the Fiend and Braun Strowman. So of course you fast forward, all throughout this run. And so the thing is, like whenever they would show like certain milestones in Roman's title run, they would show they'll show a timeline of of all the previous champions, and what they would do is not only that, but they would show, like I said, it would show the timeline of all the different champions in history, but specifically it would show the longest reign of each champion. So for example, if they show Bret Hart, they wouldn't show him 5 times. They would just show Bret, show whatever Bret's longest title reign was. It was John Cena. They definitely wanted to show Cena 16 times. They would just show whatever Cena's longest title reign was, so on and so forth. So even for champions who had belt multiple times, they only showed them 1 time, and that was when, like I said, and that was for whatever the longest title run was. Anyway, like I said, they show the different graphics throughout history as far as Roman. Like I said, whether it's like his first championship reign, whether it was like him winning at WrestleMania 37. You know what I mean? So as far as that, and also for when Roman became champion for like over 435 days, stuff like that. Like I said, they'll show show the history, like the timeline of all the different champions, whatever their longest reign was. And so like I said, so as far as that, they they show like WrestleMania 37. They would show, like I guess you could say like pretty much like when Roman unified the titles. They would show, even probably like I think even like the SummerSlam match with Lesnar, all these different things, and just like Roman's march through history, and it was great. It was great to show, the longest title reign for each champion in history, in comparison to Roman, and just his march towards greatness that he's been on and he's still on even right now. And it's so and just for him to hit 1,000+ days in an era like this, in a time like this where with average attention span is like it's like a microwave. You know what I mean? It's and for him to maintain interest for as long as he's maintained interest is a testament to um, him as a performer. Is a testament to um, just the way that WWE has invested in him because they see, um, like I said, just because of what they see in him, and just his. Also, another testament of Roman's greatness. I really want to eventually want to get an episode like where I talk with what like the ultimate Roman fans. I really want to get her perspective when it comes to Roman Reigns. And one of the things that she talked about, shout out to Mimi from Black Wrestling, is one of the things she emphasizes is Roman's selflessness, in the sense that Roman, even as champion, has found ways to elevate others around him. Obviously, obviously with his family, his twin cousins Usos, his other younger cousin Solo, but even when it comes to guys like Sami Zayn, there was even a story where apparently Roman was talking about how much of a fan he is of Sami, and how he wanted to see Sami in a more prominent position. Fast forward to where we've been lately. Sammy's been heavily involved in this man event spotlight, because of the bloodline, and this is the most exposure that Sami has ever had is because of his affiliation with Roman, and how Roman was willing to look for ways to bring him up even further, and like I said, that's just a testament of Roman's selflessness. And the thing is, even when he's at the top, he's looking for ways to bring other people up along with him. And not only that, but just look at, as I say over and over, just look at Roman's catalog matches, just catalog of greatness, even before, um, even before the produced schedule. Even though he's quote unquote part time, but at the same time, he's still a central figure when it comes to the storyline. Even though he's not at every single, even though he's not putting the belt on the line at every single event, every single PLE, formerly pay per view, whatever. Roman is still in high demand. He's still a massive draw. He's still a heat magnet. He's still a magnet when it comes to money. I say, a lot of it's on Shawn Michaels or something, but yeah. But the thing is, like I said, who better to be champion for 1,000 days than Roman? And also, another thing I found out is that Roman is at least 14 days away, maybe now like 13 days away, probably at this point, from surpassing CM Punk's number of days as WWE champion. So this is separate from the Universal title. I'm referring to just the name, just the WWE Championship itself, not Universal. So we already know what Roman is when it comes to his time as Universal Champion. But the belt that he got later, the WWE title, the one that he won at WrestleMania 38, as far as that, his run right now, just with that title alone, is on pace to eclipsing CM Punk's 434-day reign. So if you just look at Roman's, just the WWE Championship alone, the one that he wears around his waist all the time, right? If you just look at that belt, Roman's title reign with that belt is actually about to eclipse CM Punk's 434-day reign. I know people feel a certain way about it, whatever, but as I said, even last year, there was an episode I did about Roman back when he passed Lesnar's 503 days as Universal Champion, whatever. Back when he surpassed Lesnar's original Universal title record, right? And that was over 500 plus days. Even I was saying then, this is before, it was before Roman even unified the titles. And I'm going to get into United Champions in a minute. But I was even saying then that Roman, from a legacy standpoint, had surpassed CM Punk. And this before, like I said, the schedule change. And now the gap has been getting wider. The gap has been starting to get even wider. And so that's why things look the way they did on my list, but it's neither here nor there. But like I say, Roman's march towards history is remarkable. And just how great this storyline has been. I mean, like I said, it speaks volumes in and of itself. I'm going to get into that much later in this episode, especially with the main event. And like I said, hats off to Roman for that milestone. I look forward to seeing him surpass Pedro Morales and myself, and I'm sure a lot of people look forward to him getting past that 1,474-day reign from HH. Look forward to seeing him. Look forward to seeing Roman go to 1,475 days. Just to spite, just out of just to spite Hogan. And just to further, erase Hogan's footprint. And now Roman is a 7-time WrestleMania main eventer, and so next year, by the time we do the 40, that could be 8, so you can time the record. But of course, this neither here nor there. Like I said, congratulations once again to Roman for being champion for over 1,000 days, and may he continue to soar, may he continue to rise, and may he continue to acknowledge. But anyway, of course, moving on to what I like to call Brunch of Champions. I like to call Brunch of Champions. And of course, speaking of titles, the event starts off with a championship match. The tournament final for the inaugural inaugural WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And who better to compete in the finals of this tournament than Seth freaking Rollins, the visionary, the revolutionary Seth freaking Rollins, versus the phenomenal AJ Styles. Both of them, have are pretty much like branches from the Shawn Michaels influence tree, if you will, right? It's certainly evident in their wrestling styles and everything like that. So it's only fit. It's only fitting that they were in the finals of the tournament, and the match was absolutely incredible. To me, I have to say the best match of the night in my estimation. Match went 20 minutes, and it went 20 minutes and 40 seconds, and like I said, I absolutely enjoyed it. Like I said, it was an absolute thrill, and shout out to Seth Rollins for that leopard print. I said Drew Shea is almost like a light king from Tekken, if you will, just as far as that. And thing is, when you look at Seth's character, it's like Shawn Michaels meets Randy Savage meets Prince meets Elton John. Or you know what I mean? That as far as that, it's just like just all those things like aligned in one. And like Seth has been the inevitable choice to hold this title to become the inaugural champions. And the thing is, Seth has not had a world title in like 4 years. And of course, apologies for the background noise over there. But the thing about it is that like I said, the thing about it is that who better to kick off this new title than Seth Rollins himself. And like I said, it was absolute phenomenal match, no pun intended, to AJ Styles, and the way that Seth fought through that pain. Of course, to deliver one last curb stomp. And so on. So like I said, I was absolutely fascinated, absolutely intrigued by by this match overall. And who better to win it than Seth? And of course, Triple H was there to personally congratulate him and present him with the title. And the thing is, Triple H has always been heavily invested in Seth Rollins, heavily invested in Seth's success from NXT all the way up until now. Whenever Seth achieves a major milestone, Triple H is there. Triple H is there to cheer him on. So it's great for the game to personally present him with the title. So of course, like I said, kudos to Seth. Shout out to him, for bringing this new title. And it looks great on him, by the way. And of course, kudos. Shout out to AJ Styles for personally congratulating him as well. So of course after that, we see, in my estimation, a dream match, if you will, and dream match is finally manifested into a feud, and Trish Stratus versus Becky Lynch. And of course, the thing about Trish's outfit, it was a callback from, let's say, it was the episode of Raw where her and Lita main evented. Of course in that match, so Trish had the black leather suit, with pink stripes on each side. So because of Saudi Arabia, Trish brought back the outfit only with long sleeves, though, because of what they are. And so of course on the back said, "Thank you, Trish." And Trish has done miracles as a heel, and it's especially now, considering the fact that she's going to be, she's going to be on the roster, on a regular basis, on a full-time regular basis. And she's a WWE Hall of Famer, legend, icon, 7-time women's champion, everything like that, highly decorated, even considered number one number one on WWE's list of the 50 greatest women's wrestlers, right? So Trish has pretty much done it all, won it all, and everything like that. And shout out to Stephanie Hypes on Twitter for for that artwork, for that graphic, of Trish versus Lita. Like I said, that was absolutely incredible. And if there's any way that you can put that on a T-shirt and a hoodie, I would certainly put my money behind it. It's certain, and of course, this is definitely a match that was worth putting our money behind. And like I said, that was absolutely incredible. So incredible since the first time. So we've had these two legendary women's wrestlers, one a Hall of Famer and the other one a future Hall of Famer, finally clash, right? And so, and of course, speaking of gear, shout out to Becky Lynch. She definitely had, to me, the gear of the night. With the Kill Bill, yellow, Kill Bill, um, yellow jumpsuit with the black stripes. You know what I mean? And of course, which was originally inspired by Bruce Lee, first and foremost, by the way. You know what I mean? But the thing is, of course, Becky's a huge fan of the movie Kill Bill. And I think I even seen seems like fan artwork of Becky as Uma Thurman's character, the bride in that movie. So I would love to see a Becky Lynch Kill Bill T-shirt. You know what I mean? I would love to see that happen. You know what I mean? Like I said, that would be absolutely incredible. But like I said, the match itself is great. Like I said, neither one of them disappointed, and Trish shows that she still got it. And the biggest swerve, of the night of that match was when Zoe Stark from NXT showed up. Of course, Zoe was actually drafted in the WWE draft anyway, but the way that she came through as the wild card for Trish was absolutely incredible. I mean, she absolutely busted Becky's nose with that hit. Man, you know what I mean? But like I said, when it comes to this match, they definitely put on a great first impression. When it comes to this match, when it came to the chemistry, you know what I mean, it was absolutely on one, if you will. So of course your winner, the winner of this match was Trish Stratus, and so the match lasted at least a little under 15 minutes. And so of course next up for the WWE Intercontinental Championship, we have Gunther versus Mustafa Ali. And so of course, on the outset of this match, I already knew that Gunther was going to win because he's on a run, on a march towards history himself. Because now he's officially the third longest reigning Intercontinental Champion in WWE history, only behind the Honky Tonk Man, who's number one with 450 days, and the late great Macho Man Randy Savage with 414 days. So Gunther is like 100 days away from breaking Honky Tonk's record. And like I said, I'm cheering for him. I am standing in his corner all the way because nothing else certain. Like I said, I'm looking forward to seeing records being broken, and certain ones, it's long enough. It's long overdue for this record to be broken. And who better to do it than someone like Gunther? As dominant as he is, as great as he is, from an athletic standpoint, from a technical standpoint, that's why he is called the Ring General. And of course, I love the Imperium entrance. Kaiser's introduced him as the Ring General. I'm like, yeah, that's right on point. And like, see, Gunther is him when it comes to what he does in the ring, and of course, him and Mustafa Ali did not disappoint. And so the thing is, it was not a squash match. Ali, I actually put up a pretty nice fight. You know what I mean? And of course, it wasn't a complete squash match. Of course, like I said, at least Ali put up, at least put up a good fight. You know what I mean? And so it was actually better. It was actually better than I expected. But in the end, I knew, the master of the chops, Gunther, was going to win. In fact, his chops even put Ric Flair to shame. It comes off as hot take, but that's the truth. And like the winner is still the champion, Gunther, so he's lives to defend for another day, if you will. And so of course, like I said, that was the third match of the night. After that, we have the Raw Women's Championship match, Asuka versus Bianca Belair. And so I'll say like this. Actually, um, even though I like Becky versus Trish, I can very much look at this and pretty much say that this is like, to me was the best women's match of the night. And so like the thing about it is that even though um, EST ended up losing the title, but like I said, it was absolutely phenomenal. I would say it was an honorable way, in my estimation, um, for her to lose. It was much better than seeing Bianca lose in 26 seconds, you know. And of course, when you look at it, the fact that Asuka um, is a women's wrestling legend, you know, it's, women's wrestling legend overall, of course, both in Japan and WWE, whether it's NXT runs and the main roster, Asuka has a remarkable career when it comes to women's wrestling. She needs to be in that conversation of greatest of all time. She is top 10 hands down, and who better for the EST to have a match like this with than someone like Asuka. And I think it was very important when it comes to um, raising the profile, the credibility of Asuka as a heel. And the thing is, there's one thing that she lost at WrestleMania. This is one thing for Asuka to lose as a heel at WrestleMania. But then again, just because, like I said, it made perfect sense for Bianca to win, for her to have WrestleMania 3-peat, and also just regards to her representation, impact, and everything like that. So, like I said, that was great to see. And just for her to be for Bianca to be the type of inspiration that she is, and just like I said, that entrance and everything like that. There was no way that Bianca was going down like that at WrestleMania. But with all that aside, now we can go ahead and sort of like take the gloves off and things like that. So, like I said, now all that aside, you can get to, like I said, we could move forward and excuse me, and have Bianca drop the title with no shame. And like I said, the match itself was absolutely incredible. What I mean? So in fact, to me, I would say it was even better. In my estimation, to a certain extent, it was probably better than the Mania match. Even though it was a special place for me when it comes to that WrestleMania match, because I was there. So so it still earns several cool points, because I just happened to be there. But either way, like I said, this match was not a slouch at all in and of itself. But like I said, when it comes to the gear, both of them were absolutely incredible. Bianca had on, it reminded me of the White Ranger's outfit from, reminded me of Tommy the White Ranger. Like as far as like Bianca's outfit for Saudi, and as far as Asuka, I love her outfit as well. It blended perfectly with the hair, with the face paint, and especially when you look at the shoes themselves. Like that was the best part of Asuka's gear as far as I'm concerned. Like I said, I'm a big stickler. Stickler when it comes to gear. I'm very particular when it comes to certain gear. So I mean, what can I say? Like I said, and of course, when it came to the match, they absolutely knocked it out of the park. It was absolutely phenomenal. It was incredible. So like I said, Bianca put up a great fight, and it was a great way to close out this chapter for her, for this first for this first title reign as Raw Women's Champion. So of course she's going to have many more chances when it comes to having that title, because it's pretty much her era, if you will. So of course, like I said, someone like Asuka. I think Asuka, was absolutely a great opponent, and of course, I noticed that Asuka was very strategic when it came to the mist. So even though she missed, unintended, that first time when like the first time when Bianca ducked. The thing about it, the thing about Asuka was that she was very smart in that when she was on the apron, she spit the mist um, on her hands, and all of a sudden the mist, the mist started, start like, sort of like bleeding, if you will, on like on like all over her fingers and stuff, and so that was smart. That was very strategic. I noticed that. So that when it was time for Bianca to give her the KOD, Asuka was just able to just smear that mist in Bianca's eyes and just throw her off guard, and we all know the rest is history. You know, and so like I said, like I said, hats off to Bianca for an incredible title reign and just what she meant when it came to when it came to representation when it came to representation of black girls, and just when it comes to all right, thanks a lot. See, Mike's a big fan of this. I'm like I said, just when it came to Bianca's representation, for little black girls all across the world, and everything like that, and just like I said, just for being an inspiration, for being the women's equivalent of John Cena, if you will, and in that regard, and just how great of an ambassador that she is when it comes to the WWE product, when it comes to just the way that she's been flying the flag when it comes to WWE, flying the flag when it comes to women's wrestling in general, so whether Raw, SmackDown, otherwise, whatever. So the thing is, like I said, Bianca has been a game changer. She continues to be a game changer, and now this opens up room for her to go after uh, either Rhea, which is inevitable, or the Queen herself, the last sportswoman, Charlotte Flair. So it's like being in story mode of showcasing, or rather like Mirage or something like that, and you have two paths to choose from. So Bianca's in that position where she has two paths to choose from, and and the trajectory of her career could, of her career and stuff, and the trajectory of the women's division can go either way. Whatever choice that she makes is going to be impactful on either brand, if you will. What I mean? So I think that was absolutely incredible match. Bianca never ever failed, never she never ceases to amaze, right? And so it's just me, sort of like just me continuously, as I say, quote unquote, giving her flowers. What I mean? So anything, I was, like I said, I was absolutely amazed by this match. So of course it lasted 15 minutes. So looking at the time, and so of course the next match, of course, and the funny thing is, speaking of the Raw Women's Championship, is funny. It's perfect. It's perfect that they had the SmackDown Women's Championship right after this. So it was a perfect transition from one title match to another. Um, in fact, it's the third straight title match overall. Next up, we have Rhea Ripley versus Natalya on Natty's birthday. So all I gotta say is that this match was grand opening, grand closing. And of course it was a perfect squash match for Rhea, even though it's at Natalya's expense. And I know, a lot of the other Twitter trolls and Twitter creeps, were big, huge Rhea fans, Rhea stands, if you will. You know who you are. I'd like to point out that this match lasted 69 seconds. Take wherever you will with that. Take wherever you will with that type of information. But like I said, that's how long the match lasted. So there was a minute and 9 seconds. A minute and 9 seconds. I'll say it like that. The more cleaner way of saying it. And of course, of course, Rhea dominated Natty from start to finish. I think Natty even had an ounce of offense. Like I said, that match was a clean squash, clean sweep, grand opening, grand closing for Natty on her birthday. So that was a perfect birthday gift. Your winner, the Eradicator herself, Rhea Ripley. So along with Dominic being an antagonizer, but like I said, of course, Rhea won. And of course, the next match is going to be Brock Lesnar versus Cody Rhodes. And there was no way that Cody was going to have a clean sweep on Lesnar like he did with Seth Rollins. This is, as I like to say, Doomsday versus Homelander, right? And so, of course, in this match, this fight, Doomsday ends up winning. And the thing about it is that it didn't make any sense for Cody to beat Brock with one arm, you know. Um, and so of course, the match itself, the match itself was nice, and even though it lasted less than 10 minutes, but of course, Brock being the beast that he is, just being the dominant figure that he is, and the thing about it was that apparently he learned from his previous mistake, and that was to not lean all the way back when doing the Kimura lock, you know. And the thing is not only that, but also the thing is actually did the Kimura lock on the weaker arm, on the arm, on the arm, that actually had the brace on it, the like little hand cast, whatever on it. It's so of course, Brock makes Cody submit, not pass out altogether from the pain. Of course, with the Kimura lock. So in this one, Brock wins by submission. Then and not only that, but also another huge swerve when it came to this match was the fact that Triple H was the one that Triple H was the one that pulled the trigger on sending Brock out there. When it comes to Cody, and so of course, if anything, this is more of Cody's sort of humbling process and just a struggle, just for him to just for him to gain more notches under his belt, and just to gain more steam, just to be more believable and things like that. So I think Brock Lesnar is Cody's ultimate litmus test right now, and the fact that Triple H was the mastermind behind that absolutely speaks volumes, and it's great storytelling. So of course, your winner for this match, of course, no other than Brock Lesnar himself. And the thing is, this is no longer Happy Brock. This is Savage Brock. This is Super Saiyan Broly Brock. Back in that form. And this is a Terrorizer Brock, if you will, whatever title that you want to give him. This is that version of Lesnar. And the thing about it is that the thing is whenever we get back to that version, I absolutely love it. So of course the winner of this match is Brock Lesnar, and last but not least, last but not least, the title match in of itself, the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship match, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Bloodline. This time with Roman and Solo Sikoa. And and of course, shout out to Sami Zayn for introducing himself and Kevin Owens in Arabic. I was like, okay, this guy's a man of great taste. And like I say, he's very, very well rounded. And and also I found out that the main reason why Sammy and KO went over to Saudi was because Sammy wanted to make sure that there was no more war going on over there. Whatever civil war that they had, you want to make sure that it ceased before the coast was clear. So before the coast was clear for him to even go over there. So as far as that, like I said, like I said, this match is great storytelling. So and just in regards to seeing the implosion of the bloodline, like I said, unfold right in front of us. So as far as that, like I said, I said, I absolutely just love the way that there are more layers added added to this story. Like I said, when it comes to this faction, is absolutely remarkable. And you know, and just with the turn, like just with like so with the turn that happened at the end of the match, um, when when Usos came in and accidentally knocked out Solo, but uh, Jimmy meant to knock out Jay, and so this is where things really just came crash into a head when really came crash into a head like when Roman got in Jay's face and just smushed his face, saying no, saying it, smush him in his face, saying there are no more day ones around here, and just get the guy in my ring, saying like the Usos they let's call themselves the ones. So Roman's like, then no more, saying, Bruno saying to Jay, he was like, saying like, um, you're not even day ones no more, stuff like that. There's no more day ones around here, and stuff like that. And and of course, I don't know if anybody noticed that when Jay, um, so so, I just, I just I guess when Jay before that, when Jay tried to calm him down, um, you can hear him say Joe, and hear him say Joe, which is of course Roman's real name, and so that's when Roman just set him off, like as far as that, and that's when he just started smushing his face, just constantly yelling at him, just telling him to get out the ring, and then Roman turns around and gets KO with a super kick by Jimmy. So Jimmy was the one that ended up pulling the trigger um, to uh, to turn on Roman, and so this Friday is going to be very interesting, what I mean, and because of the fact that especially since the Usos lost, it's like it's like they already had 1 foot out already, and so I think now because of what happened at Night of Champions, might as well have both feet out. And so Jay is the most conflicted of them all, and of course, because um, of Jimmy's interference in his attack on Roman, you know, that left Solo open, for Solo open for Sammy and KO um, to pick up the W and to retain the championships. And so Sami Zayn finally accomplished what he set out to do, and that was to take down the bloodline. And so even though the bloodline's been imploding from within, Sammy from the outside, is the one, is the one that's putting the nail in the coffin on the outside, and just for Roman to just Roman to be sitting to be sitting outside the ring and look up at Sammy, and Sammy's holding both belts over him, celebrating. And so you can say Sammy's accomplished his mission of destroying the bloodline, and I mean, so as far the bloodline is imploding themselves, and so it's just a matter of what next, and so as far as that, like I said, overall, I was very much fascinated. I was very much intrigued by Night of Champions, or as I call it, Brunch of Champions. So when it comes to a belt grade, I would give it 8.5 out of 10 or 4.5 out of 5. Ruthless Aggression, Undisputed Championship belts. So that's my rating when it comes to Night of Champions. And like I said, it's absolutely incredible. It's simply amazing, and I look forward to what they have in store when it comes to Money in the Bank. So those are my thoughts on those are my thoughts on Night of Champions. And once again, congratulations to the Tribal Chief 1,000 days and counting.